Okay, some of you on this channel now have begun to awaken things in yourselves. You're starting to have vivid dreams after years of not remembering any dreams. Some of you have no doubt started to have some lucid dreams. Some of you have described the beginning stages of astral projection. You're right on the verge. So it's a good time to put this video out. Now, some of you asked me before what to expect when you open the third eye, or what to expect when you explore the astral realm, and I said, really, I can't define that for you because it's too undefinable and vast, the possibilities, and it's going to depend on your mind, body, and spirit. And what I said is entirely true. However, I'm going to give you guys a few pointers on one thing that I have enough experience with to give you some useful information, okay, from my experience with it, that I do believe applies to you. I've been inspired, you could say, by my guides, my spirit guides, to explain this to you guys. Okay, how to identify a spirit guide, one of your spirit guides, who knows you better than you do, in the astral realm. In other words, whether you become lucid in a dream, because what happens when you become lucid in a dream, you start exploring the astral realm. That's what's happening. It gets you to the same place an astral projection does, just not as instant and clear, okay? In other words, in lucid dreams, there can be variable levels of lucidity. You might only be sort of in a foggy amount of lucidness, or it might be more vivid than anything you've ever seen in this world, depending on how lucid you get. And of course, practice and experience makes that better. Now, why would you want to meet a spirit guide? Well, for one thing, they're the ones helping you astral project, okay? They're the ones helping you right now to even believe a word I'm saying, or to even feel inspired by it. And they know all the secrets of your life. They know your oversoul. They know who you really are. They know what you're really capable of. They know all the possibilities that exist within your life. So establishing a relationship with at least one of your spirit guides is absolutely priceless. They can help you on this. You know, a lot of you guys ask me, hey, you know, what other things can you tell me, tips for how to astral project, or how to meditate better, or how to contact, you know, a spirit or a consciousness, you know, or this or that. You guys ask me questions. Well, your own spirit guides will help you more with that than I can directly do from here, per se. In a sense, we're all in this together because my higher self communicates with your higher self, etc. That's why some of you are even here listening. Okay, that's why you found this channel. And if you feel something inside about what I just said, then yeah, I'm talking to you. You know, it's possible that some of us even have the same oversoul and don't know it, just so you know, because your soul is incarnated in many forms at the same time. Some of them will be other human forms, maybe in this world or others. Some of them will be non-human forms because, guys, the universe is teeming with life and it doesn't all look like this, okay? Anyway, so let's get to it. Here's some beginner tips for when you start to explore the astral realm, either through lucid dreams or through astral projection or some kind of meditation projection or any other way you find to get there, okay? However you kick that door open, you start exploring the astral, all right? Here are keys that I've identified, as well as certain other people. I've noticed certain other people have noticed some of these same things, so there's some correlation here. Okay, when you're lucid and you're looking around, if there's anyone who is what you might call an authority figure, who wears a name tag, a train conductor, a taxi driver, a store clerk, you know, anything like that, anybody with a title in the dream, and it doesn't have to be a big title, it doesn't have to be, you know, king, emperor, whatever. It could be a fishing guide who has a little name tag on. This is a clue. Anybody in a dream who has an ID, most likely they're one of your guides. Now, some of the questions you may end up asking yourself, like I have, is why don't guides just introduce themselves to us and make this easy? It's because you're only ready for so much at a time. When you first meet your guides, they're going to take an appearance of something that's not threatening to you. This is why they may appear as, you know, a store clerk or something, let's say. it'll be, you'll need to graduate in your experience and clear out a lot of fear and resolve some things with yourself before you can start to see your guides' true forms. Because if you saw it right away, you'd be terrified. Not because they're awful looking or scary or horrible or anything, but because our background and beliefs does not prepare us in this world for for all the forms of life that really exist and how amazing they really are, okay? There's some famous quote out there about how every angel is terrifying, and whoever made that quote, this is what they're talking about, okay? Now, I can tell you from personal experience that when you meet your higher self, you'll be terrified too. You'll think it's the booming voice of God or something, and it turns out it's you. But what I'm trying to explain here is that your guides are not going to jump out at you and show you their true form right away. They're going to let you grow into the experience at your own rate. Okay, so one thing, if they're wearing a name tag, if they're a guide of some kind in the dream, if they have a position or an authority. Another thing, another little clue, okay, that appears in some dreams. Someone's standing on an elevated position, okay? If you're looking around your environment and one of the people there is standing higher than the rest, go ask them a question. If you're lucid, ask them if they're your spirit guide, or whatever you want to ask them. There's a good chance that that symbolically is a hint that that's a guide. Another hint is if they're extremely tall, unusually tall, like you're looking up at them like this. Any person that appears to you super tall in the astral or lucid dreaming state, astral projection, lucid dreaming, my advice is ask them a question. Try to figure out if it's a guide. Try to establish a relationship. Every time I've tried this, that I've met anybody that for some reason was just unusually tall, and I'm talking 7 to 12 feet. I'm talking tall, okay? It usually turns out to be a spirit guide. I think the symbol of tallness is simply a symbol. See, at first they appear to you symbolically, like I said, in a form that you can handle. I think the symbol of being so tall is to say that their consciousness is sitting on a higher plane. That's why their head's up so high. It's a symbol, okay? It's a dream symbol or an astral symbol. And as you graduate, these symbolic things will give way to more literal, otherworldly experiences, okay? Now, what's another one I've noticed? For some reason, very light blonde hair, okay? And please don't try to turn this into any weird racist thing or anything like that. It's not about anything like that. It's not about physical races of people or physical hair colors. I think the blonde hair simply represents bright, shining, pure thoughts coming from the head. It's a way of the guide saying that my thoughts are of a very high nature, a high vibrational, light nature. Now, I've had guides appear with black hair, and some of my guides are not necessarily all light and airy-fairy, just like I'm not necessarily all light and airy-fairy. So I am by no means saying that you should only listen to blonde people in dreams. That sounds like a good way to get deceived. But I have noticed that in many cases, for whatever reason, and I'm not the only one who's documented this, a lot of times a spirit guide that is of a very light nature, a loving, positive, light end of the spectrum type spirit guide, a lot of times they have very, very bright blonde hair. Very light colored or bright blonde hair in dreams. Or the astral. Or, lucid dreams are astral. In other words, your introduction to the astral plane when a lot of things remain symbolic, okay? Now, what else can I tell you? I think those are my main hints for identifying your spirit guides. What you want to do is train your mind that when I achieve lucidity in a dream or I achieve astral projection, this is what I did. Now, I'm not telling you guys what to do. You can have any priority of what you want to explore first on the astral plane. For me, it was I want to know my spirit guides because I had realized that somebody was making it very clear to me from the other side that they were guiding me. And they were speaking to me in a variety of ways that I just couldn't hear clearly yet. So my goal was when I get into the astral plane, I'm going to find spirit guides. So I trained my mind to be prepared for that. It was my mission. So every time I became lucid in a dream, Well, not every time, because sometimes I got distracted doing other very fun things, depending on which characters you run into. There's so many amazing things can happen there. It's all extremely valuable. But it does help to go with a plan, because when you become lucid, even this guy, even ego me, remembers who he is. Oh yeah, I'm that guy from back on Earth, and I came here to discover my spirit guides and get information and to help me grow and awaken and, find my spiritual gifts, etc., whatever it is. Having prepared your mind for that makes you remember that, okay? That's high priority when you become lucid or astral project into the astral realm, okay? So guys, those are my hints for identifying guides. Anybody really tall, anybody with a name tag, anybody who is sitting or standing on a slightly higher elevation than you in this whatever scene you're in, that's a clue. Check with them. Anybody with any kind of special position, anyone helpful who's helping a group, and anyone with really light colored blonde hair. I would check with all of those for spirit guides. And I feel quite confident that some of you are going to use this and you're going to discover some of your spirit guides this way. It'll work. I don't know why exactly those are the symbols they mostly use. You heard my theories on it, but it doesn't matter a whole lot. It's just something that myself and certain others have noticed, some of these correlations when you're first exploring that realm. These are some of the archetypal symbols that your guides will use to give you hints, but not to show their true form or overwhelm you with how amazing they really are. And when you talk to them, you may find that at first if you're able to stay lucid, not get too excited or afraid or wake yourself up or leave that realm, and this takes practice, but as you talk to them, you'll find that the things they say to you, you may or may not think you fully understand the message at first, but what you'll find is if you keep contemplating it for months, even years to come, some of these messages, you'll continue to understand new layers and new levels of what they meant with that message. The message is worded in a very intelligent way that if you, as an individual, will keep stretching your consciousness to try to fully understand what that message meant, at some point you'll get it, and all of a sudden a bunch of things will click and you'll understand how brilliant these beings really are. Not just giving you a straight up answer to mundane things like, how do I win the lotto? Chances are your spirit guides couldn't care less about you winning the lotto because it would be a distraction from much better things you could be doing. Now don't quote me on that, because somebody out there probably has a spirit guide that would help you win the lotto. I don't know. But the truth is they're way wiser, and they're looking at your life from a much higher place of knowledge and understanding than I am, okay? So when they give you advice, here's what I found. If I take them up on their advice, it's mind-blowing and it unlocks things. But oftentimes I have to do it out of faith because I don't fully understand the message. Okay, sometimes I have to do what's in the message, even for months, maybe even years, before suddenly I understand that I wasn't even meant to understand that message until a couple years later when something happened. Okay, sometimes they give me a message that's like, I don't realize it at the time, but it's more about the future. And then when something occurs, then all of a sudden I understand exactly what that message was about. And this is just another way of them showing me that I am very much connected to them at this point, and they are guiding my path. They show me it daily with 3 special numbers that I kept inside of me as my special numbers my whole life, and it was my own secret OCD thing, and they started showing me these numbers everywhere, causing me to look, causing me to walk and see the numbers, causing me to find those 3 numbers everywhere. It started one day, and it has never quit since for years. I see the same 3 numbers everywhere I go, constantly. More so when I'm exactly on the most conducive path currently, and I see it less frequently when I'm straying a little further away from my highest path. And this is one way that they because I'm not so clairaudient that I can hear their voice normally in this body, this is just a way that they simply communicate with me, like keeping me on track as much as I want to be for my own spiritual growth and expansion. But anyway, that's a way they communicate with me on this side when I'm awake and in this body. They have a lot of different creative ways of communicating with a lot of different people. The point is, you need to pay attention to your own intuition and watch the signs, okay? Your spirit guides know how to communicate with you because they know your mind better than you do, okay? You know all kinds of things about you better than you do from the perspective of your ego, where we know so little about ourselves. Okay, so hopefully that's a good instructional for those of you that are right at that precipice and starting to peek in to that other realm. Things are only going to get more exciting and better as you build your intention to do it. And your spirit guides want to help you. Ask them. You may not know their names or what they look like or anything yet. That doesn't even matter. If you reach out to them and you say, look, I know I have at least one spirit guide that's always with me and probably more. Would you help me with my meditation practice? Will you help me connect with me more while I'm meditating? Connect with me more while I'm dreaming? Connect with me more while I'm whatever. You choose, okay? But the more you invite them to be involved with your life and the more you pay attention, the more you'll find out just how real they really are. Like I've said before, I've had my life physically probably saved at least twice by advice that I got in the Astral from a spirit guide. Came back here and tested it and found out it was absolutely true and I had no idea. Priceless. But apparently I'm still supposed to be here for some reason, right? Alright, I love you all, Jedis. Let me know what you think of that, if that helps. And start using it tonight when you become lucid in a dream, okay? Find one of your guides. Tell them I said hi. They already know. But anyway, I love you all. Over and out for now, Jedis.